so much for pressing play again on episode 6 of 4ZZZ Off Air. I'm Grace.
I'm Claire.
This week we're going to be talking Siggy Witch. I'm going to review their album Classic Connection. It's their brand newie. What are you going to be reviewing?
I'm chatting Peter, Bjorn and John in what apparently is a massive throwback for everyone. Their new record, Breaking Point, is out at the end of the week. Very excited.
I'm keen to hear what you have to say about that one. I don't know if it's going to live up to grade 9 Grace's expectations.
Oh,
but
it does. It really
amazing.
does.
Good, okay, because she has very high standards. Anyway, in Spotlight we're going to be talking just about a bit of gig etiquette after some really shitty things happened at a high tension gig. And yeah, just a bunch of stuff we went to on the weekend, some stuff you should go to this weekend. Let's get into it.
Cool.
So Claire, you reviewed Peter, Bjorn and John. Do tell.
Okay, yeah, so Peter, Bjorn and John, the lovable 3 Swedish guys from Sweden. So they put out their new record, Breaking Point, and it's amazing, basically. I don't know how to explain this, but for anyone that has caught the lead single off the record, What You're Talking About, it is my morning jam.
Amazing.
It gets me up in the morning, driving in the car, just having a listen on the bus. It's so good. It's one of those pop songs that is a bit off kilter, and it's so nice listening to an off kilter song resolve itself while it's playing. It's just really great.
Yeah.
But it's basically each track is pretty much a banger. That sounds dumb when you think of, everyone thinks of young folks as that's what Peter, Bjorn and John sound like, but if anyone who's followed their records over the years, they have become pretty out and out pop. And with this particular record, they worked with 6 producers, and these are people who've worked with Sia and all of these other really big pop artists, and they basically have just labored away at this record and have come up with half a dozen. At least half a dozen, could easily be singles from an album.
Siggy Witch, band out of Melbourne, they're basically a mishmash of all of my favourite Melbourne bands. You've got The Ocean Party, Zone Out and Totally Miles. Zone Out we talked about last week, so they're just doing really great things. But I think the real talking point of Classic Connection is the use of lap steel guitar, which made famous in the SpongeBob theme song. I'm pretty sure that's a lap steel guitar. Sounds very similar. But yeah, it's basically a lot of the themes that they talk about on the record are just really day-to-day things, but have that almost melancholy but almost sinister undertone to them. And yeah, that combined with the lap steel guitar is walking through some kind of weird tropical beach setup in a suburban shopping centre, except it's a pleasant experience. So, deal with that one, Siggy Witch.
The visual imagery just really amazing. So as Grace mentioned at the top of the show for Spotlight this week, we're having a bit of a grump.
Yeah, I know.
It's so sad. I feel we're either preaching at you or getting angry, but we have good cause this time.
We really do.
As 2 ladies who go to a lot of gigs, it's really sad when we get these stories of other people at gigs being shit.
Yeah,
which is basically what happened at a high tension gig.
Yeah, so they were supporting Death Heaven, and during high tension set, someone got roped in the pit, and it was just a really opportunistic thing when that happens, and it's just so disappointing. But basically the person who did it was called out by the victim, and she drew attention to it, and he got kicked out. But Karina Utomo, who's the front woman of High Tension, basically went on Facebook afterwards to just explain that that's great that happened, and that's great that she had the courage to kind of speak up and get this person kicked out, but that's rarely the case.
It kind of reminds me of those old horror stories of Big Day Out and stuff 10, 20 years ago, where girls who were crowd surfing or whatever just get pulled down into the crowd and kind of assaulted, basically.
It's insane.
And you think, that was a time where things were a bit loose and that was really bad, and we don't do that anymore. But it happens in so many little ways all the time.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a heavy gig either. Obviously it's more present there because people are probably getting super into it, and it's a very physical
and aggressive form of music.
Yeah. Moral of the story is, don't be shit at gigs.
Yeah, don't. Just think about other people. And we won't be grumpy.
So this week on Things We Liked, I had a very different kind of... I've chosen a very different gig to you,
Yeah.
basically.
I didn't choose though, it chose me.
It chose you. Well, we'll get on to the gig of the century. I went to Olympia at Black Bear Lodge
Amazing.
on Friday. She was supported by Pines and Sarah Belkner.
Cool.
Very unexpected show. The main thing though was Olympia, and so she gets on stage like basically the next Sia kind of with her little
yeah.
blonde bob and crazy outfits. And 2 or 3 songs in, she's got a guitar and a couple of people in a band, and the drummer breaks the snare drum, and the whole gig comes to a grinding halt because they have no drums.
That's so awkward.
I know. And so the bass player and the drummer go off stage to like try and literally, they use like gaffer tape and shit to fix this drum. And in the meantime, Olympia is just like on stage. So she tries to banter for a bit, and then it becomes pretty obvious. Like it was like maybe 20 minutes. Like you cannot banter for 20 minutes.
No.
And
It's
so
not banter, that's an in-depth conversation.
She coped. She played like 3 or 4 songs with just her and the guitar. She did a random cover of Rock and Roll Suicide by Bowie. Like she was clearly just fishing around for anything. But she pulled it off, and like consummate performer. The band came back on with their sellotaped drum, and the rest of the set went off without a hitch.
Oh wow.
Yeah, basically.
Well, there you know, if you ever break a snare drum, sellotape.
Yeah, there you go. But apparently all of that pales in comparison to the weekend you had.
Oh yeah. It was the gig of the century. You may have heard about it by now. But basically, Violent Soho, Smith Street Band, High Tension, Jess Locke and Jolistics, I can't believe I'm saying this, they got together for a donation gig for Keep Community Radio. This campaign here, all the donations from the gig went to 4ZZZ, so it was really like a whole day of everything I love in a Venn diagram. It would actually just be a pie chart, 100% shaded in of just excellent stuff in this middle bit. But yeah, it was incredible. It was announced at midday on the Sunday that it happened. Some of the guys from the Smith Street Band post on Facebook just a picture of them in bed, still hungover from their sold out show at Max Watts the night before, being like, hey guys, come down to Crowbar, we've got this lineup we're putting on for donation for Keep Community Radio at 3 o'clock. So yep, I pajamas off, pants on, raced down to Crowbar, and lucky I did, because within like half an hour to 45 minutes, the line had wrapped right round to the Foundry, about 200 metres, more than 200 people. And yeah, from 3 o'clock onwards, Jolistics did a spoken word set. Jess Locke, I'd never heard of her before, but she's now one of my favourite bands. She was like, she's touring with Smith Street Band, and so is Jolistics, but yeah, she's quite folky. It was really, really nice. High Tension, who we were just speaking about, was so intense, and it was awesome because I never usually go to a gig like that, but you know, because they put this on, like, that was just so cool that I could see her, Karina Utomo, in action. And then obviously the Smith Street Band, half an hour set, like it was half them apologising for how hungover they were, and half of just all the hits, all the classics. They ended on Young Drunk and everyone just lost it. And yeah, Violent Soho, as you can imagine, came on to, you know, that stage that they've played a million times before, but this time off the back of selling out a national tour. And you know, speaking of good gig etiquette, I was really jammed up the front for Violent Soho, and I just had to make like get me out of here eyes at the nearest dude, and he just like cleared the path for me. It was really, really nice. It was a really good crowd. Everyone just really wanted to be there. It was great. Gig of the century.
So this week, things that you should definitely not miss. Bit of a lighter weekend, which is nice.
Yeah.
I'm sort of getting really tired. But basically on Friday, I'm getting my dance on.
Yeah, it's boogie time.
And going to a tribute night for the Strokes, which is awesome.
Yeah, in news that surprises no one.
And useless, yeah, well, whatever. As soon as I clicked attending on that event, I noticed a lot of my other Facebook friends also clicking attending.
Highly influential.
So, just saying. That's going to be at Bistro Tech, which is the Flying Cock. So that's going to be a fun dance time. And then on Saturday, we're going to keep on